Before we get into the video, y'all see the new suit. I'm gonna have a suit for every league game, so just stay tuned to the swag, alright? But let's go ahead and jump into this video.
What's good, Pro Am community? Lethal Mindset back with more from the league. This is the UHA, Underground Hoopers Association. And we're playing against Trey. This is a best-of-3 series for the right to be Tier 1. So the way this league works is there are 2 tiers. There's Tier 1, which would be the top 10 teams based upon their preseason tournament. And then everybody else, no matter if you want to join late or whatever, you'll be Tier 2. And the great thing about it is, let's say you join late and you feel like you should be a Tier 1 team and you're just crushing it. Well, the bottom 4 teams get a chance to play for Tier 1 going into the next season. So no matter what, it does keep, no matter where your team at, it keeps everybody involved, everybody engaged, which is a beautiful thing. It's first time I heard of something like that. It was an idea floating around about it being, just the 2 best teams making sure they win something, but I kind of like it being separated because you're either the best team or you're not. And if you are Tier 2, it still gives you a chance to fight for something because you know your team isn't good enough to beat the top team. Let's just be honest. And you mainly want to play against other teams that's on your skill level and work your way up to playing against the best teams. You don't want to just get in there and play and then get blown out, because what's going to happen is you're going to get blown out. Your team going to argue. Some people going to make some new builds. And after so much losing, eventually your team is going to break up. That's how it goes. I mean, I know I've been a part of that for many years. Just comes with the territory at this point. But playing for a Tier 1 spot, I actually thought our team was going to end up being Tier 2 because we were supposed to play against this other team, but unfortunately, due to scheduling, my team couldn't play. And I'm the type of person, like, if we can't play, we can't play. I'm not about to hold nobody up, so we willingly took the forced loss. I definitely thought we was good enough to be Tier 1. The team that we lost to secure our Tier 1 spot, it was a close series. I mean, they beat us by pretty much a buzzer beater. I think we ended up losing by 2 or 3 points that particular series. So that is what it is. But nonetheless, we had a chance to redeem ourselves here, and we took full advantage of it. So when the game started, y'all saw the other team record like 40-11. Our team wasn't doing so well, right? We was like 5-4, barely over 500. But I left the team record like that, so what ended up happening is, because of this league, there was an issue that happened with 2K where I had to delete the team. And I was mad about it because we was gaining some fans or whatever, but, it is what it is. We had to delete the team, and because we did that, my team started over. In the first 2 games they played without me. To RDH Hawk's point, because he likes to make points so people can visually see what's going on. He was just letting them know, because we had a conversation with the team, like, should we be Tier 1, should we be Tier 2? Because no matter what nobody says, strategizing to win money is never a bad thing. So I'm looking at most of the teams in this league, and I felt like if we was Tier 2, we would have been clearly the best Tier 2 team out there. But if we was Tier 1, then hey, we get a chance to go for the big money. And most of my teammates, they said they want to be Tier 1. I personally felt like we possibly should have went for Tier 2 just because after we lost the series, there was that pride starts to take over. And when pride takes over, like I said, we won the first game, our chest out. We on the emotional high. We think we can beat anybody in the world. We play that first game, win, blow them out. And then we lose the next 2 games. And now that ego gets in the way, because it's like, yeah, I want to play against the best of the best. That's the only way to get better. And that sounds good, but that's not the only way to get better. I know through personal experience, my team has gotten to this point where it's as good as it is now because we just continue to get through the things that's not really involving 2K, such as scheduling, such as Players want to play in a different system. Just the other things that really don't even have much to do with actually playing in a league or playing against elite competition. I mean, at the end of the day, once you play against somebody good, all that does is just tell you where your team is currently. So if we played and we couldn't beat somebody really good, not to say we can't get there, but that just tells me where we are currently. And currently, I felt like Tier 2 would have been a better place for us to start because, one, like I said, I know we would have beat most of the Tier 2 teams. And it would have just gave us more confidence so that in the next season, you know, when we go for Tier 1, then we know we can hang. You know, we can hang with the Tier 1 teams. Because the last thing I want to do is be a part of this top 10 and be number 10. You know, like, let's say we only win like a couple of series and lose to everybody else. I don't want to be that guy. I would have much rather been like the top 2 or 3 Tier 2 team than to be the worst Tier 1 team. So, I mean, that's from a captain's perspective. That's from years of playing this and knowing how these things go. You know, but nonetheless, I am proud of our team. So, in this particular series, it was a 2-0 sweep. I'm just showing this game, but because it was the shorter of the 2 games. But one thing I did like about our opponents was their center. Their center was really good. And one thing I like to break down is just how teams play. So this team plays 4 out, 1 in. This is very similar to the 0-2 Lakers or the Houston Rockets back when Hakeem Olajuwon was playing, right? You have a dominant post player, and you surround him with 4 shooters. The reason why this is tough to beat is because anytime you double, if the player is really good, which the center is, he can always kick it out to the open man for a wide open 3. And even if you scramble to get out there, that ball rotation is hard to stop, especially if it comes back down to the big man so he can get an easy bucket. As you can see here, he could just maneuver through the paint anytime he wanted to, and that's very difficult to stop. And as a defense, you have to decide, are we going to continually let him go one-on-one, or, you know, how do we want to defend that style of play? I said in another video, a team with a dominant post scorer could be really, really good. You can actually play 2 bigs this year and be really, really good. It's just a matter of how you play, how you execute offensively, and how well you can adapt defensively. The one thing they had trouble with, we showed them 5 out. They didn't know what to do against it. So at this point, 5 out, famously known by Mike D'Antoni and the Houston Rockets, but the Milwaukee Bucks, they run a lot of 5 out. Put Giannis up top, surround him with 4 shooters on the perimeter, and he can just go attack the lane one-on-one. And anytime you help, you can kick it out to a wide open 3. I've adapted this style, and I've been running this for a few years now. Like, when this was popular, I was running 4-and-1. And then once the pick and roll style came back, I went to 5 out. And I just kind of been sticking to 5 out ever since, because I think it's the toughest thing for a defense to adjust to possession after possession. So, and then we got that out the way. We 2-0 this team and looking forward to the league. The one thing I'm very curious to see is how we respond once we lose our first best-of-3 series when the games actually count. I do not know who's going to be the 5 from game to game. It's not like we have a set 5. It's 10 of us, and I plan for all 10 of us, if available. I expect those guys to play. I actually had one guy that left, so there's only 9 of us now. And hopefully at some point we can find a replacement, but, you know, that is what it is. 9 of us on the roster. I expect all 9 of us to play at some point in time. There should not be a game where I'm not available, but some things in personal life are starting to come up, so I might have to miss a game or a series here and there. And I will hope my team can just hold it down in my absence. But I actually am shooting for league MVP. I want the league to do some things to try to get the league chatter going, because one thing that makes a league or association pop off is people talking about it, the players in the league talking about it. You know, if guys are talking about, yo, did you see so-and-so's game last night? Or did you see how many points he dropped? Or did you see how dominant this player was? Those conversations will make a league just blossom and bloom. And I know one thing that this league was looking to do from the jump was just to see how much attention it gets, you know, outside of the people in the league. And the only way for that to happen is for the people in the league to start talking about it. So I had an idea. I don't think they're going to go with it or not anything, but I have an idea of them coming up with like a top 50 players list. All right, so the top 50 players in the league, you have a list and have them numbered, you know, what number you think they are. That automatically makes people talk because, you know, the first thing that's going to happen in the team group chat is you're going to be like, yo, did y'all see this list? Why is so-and-so ranked higher than this? Or why am I not on this list? Or just, you know, just something to get the league talking, get your teams talking. Like, that's what you want from leagues. One thing that y'all notice, anybody that's big on sports, you probably watch a lot of ESPN, you probably watch a lot of Undisputed. Why? Because they talk about sports. And how do they talk about sports? They come up with things, lists, categories to talk about. And the more of those things that you have that allows the league to talk about it, the more popular or opinionated the league becomes. I'm not saying they need like an official spokesperson trying to like say these things or say why they feel like this player is that or whatever. But just throw a list up there. Top 50 players list in the league. Here's the league's top 20 snipers. Here's the league's top 10 defenders. You know, like different things like that. You know, have us in the chat talking or like, why am I not on this list? I feel like I'm better than someone. You know, just have that camaraderie between leagues. It should be fun and competitive. Obviously, I never want it to be a toxic thing where, you know, something gets said and then somebody takes it the wrong way. It should always be in the spirit of competition. But nonetheless, it's just a fun thing to do, something to have that always keeps the league relevant. And, you know, the more you can keep it relevant, the more people talk about it. You know, put it on Twitter, put it wherever you got to put it. And, you know, just let people have fun. Let people go out there and compete and showcase their skill talent. You know, me personally, like I said, I'm going for MVP. I definitely think I'm the best player in the league, but let's be honest, there is a championship team from last season that has a really good point guard in particular, and he's probably the best player in the league. That's the truth. From what I've seen, that's probably just is what it is. There ain't nothing I can do about it until I execute this season. You know, I'm looking at this team, like I said, their center is really good. Like, all-star team. This is probably a guy that should be on one. Now, I don't know how his team is going to perform, and there are other people, but right now he's probably the third best center I've seen. And I think people should be rewarded and get notarized for have some accomplishments behind their name, because that's what helps you climb up in the ranks. That's what helps your brand grow. You know, for anybody that's trying to make money from this, and you can get people talking about you, you know, you can go places. I know in one of the leagues I had, there was a point guard, Hyde the Great. He ended up making it to the 2K league, but it's because no matter where he go, people are always talking about his name or talking about his team, and they did some great things. They won a couple of leagues, eventually competed in WR. But, you know, his name got up there enough to where he actually played for the Charlotte Hornets 2K team, or at least got a tryout or whatever. So, like, you never know what opportunities could arise just, you know, starting to grind here in a smaller league that ain't really known as much. You know, but the bigger we make the league, the more we talk about it, the better it's going to be. So that's where I'm at with that. But yeah, I've been enjoying the gameplay. I've been enjoying watching other people's streams. I definitely think there are a lot of talented teams out there. I really appreciate the opportunity from Coach Clay and his team. I think they're doing a pretty good job of policing the chat, and they have definitely grown from season to season. I know this is my first season, but this is my first time being a part of a league or league management. So I kind of know how those things go. And, you know, they've learned from season to season, like things they might have tolerated season one, it's not an issue now, and it's because they continue to police the chat, you know, hold everybody accountable that needs to be held accountable. And they're doing a pretty good job of staying strict and firm on some things. They're not backing down from anybody, and they're doing it with respect. You know, they're not calling anybody out their names, or they're not pretty much dictating the chats or anything like that, but they respectfully ask for something, and if you can't comply, you know, they make a decision on it as a group, and I really appreciate that. But other than that, like I said, it was a pretty short video. This team didn't end up making it this first game. Like I said, the second game, pretty much the same thing. It was a blowout. A few of those guys decided to stick it through to the end. I wonder how they're going to do that once the league starts, because I know a rule is you have to play the game all the way through for stats purposes. This particular game, it was more game being played. I don't know how many points or assists I ended up with, but those stats matter. You know, especially in the league, you always want to put forth your best effort, and you know, you want all your stats to count. So, like, I wonder how they're gonna do that. I know for me and my team, quitting is something that's just not in the cards. If we do end up quitting, it's just something we all agreed upon before it happened, and we just live with the results as a team. But, you know, not very big on quitting. But that's all I got. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, hit that like button. It helps more people watch the video. And I really appreciate anybody that took the time to check this video out. I mean, my team looked really good, and I'm proud of what they're doing and how they're focusing in on the practices. But anyway, it's been Lethal. Catch y'all in the next video. I'm out.